What's an opinion you have that you can only share anonymously? I'm really tired of hearing about autism. Specifically that everyone is autistic, and B, that people will not stop telling me that I am also autistic. I don't have the sensory processing issues, I don't have almost all of the symptoms of it. Medical professionals and parents of autistic children agree that I am not autistic. I'm just a blunt person, and while that might be another medical issue, it doesn't automatically mean autism. But people get so offended if I say I'm not, and they won't stop insisting on it, even if I ask them to stop. Most Americans aren't racist, as SJW activists claim. They just don't like one particular culture. If a person of a certain skin color speaks standard American English and obeys societal norms, they are likely to be a victim of racism. Disliking a culture born of ignorance, which is actually a derivative of poor white trash Appalachian Southern, is in no way racist. Disliking people based on their skin color is racism, but again, most Americans do not think this way. I do believe depression and trauma is real. But at the same time I also believe a lot of kids are just using it as an excuse to whine, and some also claim their trauma over anything. They get in a fight with a friend and call it trauma. When life was good for me I said I was depressed, didn't know why. 2 months later I got evicted and lost everything. Depression was the last thing on my mind. Matter of fact, I had more gratitude for every small thing I got. I think it is entirely sensible for governments to tax large companies' extraordinarily wealthy people a large sum of money, but not enough to make them lose all their wealth, and then redistribute the extra money in a program to give guaranteed income, maybe $10,000 a year, to those who don't make $500,000 a year or so. Note, I am thinking of folks like Bezos, Musk, Tesla, Amazon, and other individuals, companies who make obscenely high dollars from US consumers. A parent who dressed their boy in rainbow pants as a toddler and let him play with girl toys and now proudly claims that the boy identifies as non-binary at 7 years old is a fucking mental case who is using his child to gain validation and attention. 7 is way too young to know those terms and claim that identity or even be thinking about that. That's more of a tween-teen dilemma. The child was coached and it's really sick. A two-state solution is the only solution in Israel and Palestine. Both have been displaced at times, both have ties to the land, both have harmed the other, and both have denied two-state solutions and proposed them at different times. It's a mess-up situation, where way too many civilians and children are being murdered, and Israel needs to be held accountable, but I don't think Israel should be abolished. Just cut back. There is nothing wrong with handling this taste your partner's loin meat as if it were your last. Sampling high-iron meals such as SpaghettiOs can increase your umami profile. Do not let the gastrointestinal bloat stop you from diving deep and finding the backside bounty. Feels so good to get this off my chest. Angelic face, angelic face, angelic face. Most people have mental illness and should be put in a mental hospital. Most people are really crappy parents. Poor people shouldn't reproduce because it brings a poor person into misery. Most people wouldn't care about genocide even if it hits them in the face unless they are the ones being killed. As a landlord, in a low-income neighborhood, I committed resources to provide housing to otherwise homeless people. I'm tired of being hated for it. My house is the nicest, safest, cleanest and cheapest on my block. If you're renting, you have the same choice I did to commit to the debt and abuse. The vast majority of people shouldn't be allowed to vote. I have no idea what the unintended consequences of my vote could possibly be, and I know for a fact nobody else does either. Why should random morons have a say about things that affect everyone in society? University is a privilege. Not everyone should be allowed to read for a degree whether they have the money or not. Some just aren't smart enough to be there. Only the people who can demonstrate their commitment and attitude to higher ed should be admitted. I don't believe in all this gender identity crap. It's a social construct. Dress how you want. Call yourself anything, mutilate your genitals if you desire. Stop pushing your agenda onto people. These lunatics are the new Catholic Church. If we just purposely introduced tainted drugs onto the streets, the drug problem would sort itself out within 6 months. Would save a lot in taxpayers' money and would boost the economy for small business, flower shops, bakeries, etc. Witch hunts are real and society has more intolerant people than ever before thanks to pressure to support only certain groups and causes. Cough woke cough. Proof someone's need and curiosity that lead to the creation of this thread. We need to spend money on educating older adults on policies their candidates are behind. I've worked with seniors for a few years and what I have learned is that they vote against their best interests most of the time. We need to provide mental illness help to pedos who are non-offenders. I'd rather they get help managing whatever the fuck it is that makes them attracted to children than to go at it alone and potentially act white pink. People need to seriously get their dollar head together if at all possible. Saying this as a non-melanated person myself, you are making me look like a fool every freaking day, Karen. I can't accept most trans women as women, just my instincts kick right in and my brain reals male. It is just too easy for my brain to see it and I'm sick of denying my instincts. I really like it when other people's significant others are attracted to me. I don't act on it, but I can tell my refusal to acknowledge their energy just turns them on more. I don't really give a shit when Israelis and Palestinians kill each other. They've been doing it my whole life and they seem to like it. I just wish I wasn't paying for it. If you have a baby just because you want the experience of being a parent but you're not in any financial position mentally stable to do so, you're just selfish. I'll get banned from Reddit. But I am pro workers' rights. Adding lots more workers to an area damages workers' rights. Due to a desperate and exploitable workforce, I will be okay with abortions at 8 months. Also, there should be an exam over our history, government function structure and modern politics in order to vote. It is possible to only be attracted to and seek out a certain race for relationships and not be a racist. Downvote me, I couldn't fucking care less. Islam is the worst religion because of the violence and human rights abuses. Obviously the reason I need to be anonymous is due to these facts. Take Likud out of Israel, and take Hamas out of Palestine, and we can at least get started towards long-term peace and stability in the region. I've shared it to people in person before, I don't care. But I believe that drug addicts and the homeless don't deserve the sympathy they get. I feel like most people who identify as non-binary are only doing to look inclusive without wanting to change their gender. I hate being circumcised. I wish it would be illegal to do it before the age of 18. I'd pay a lot of money to be whole. I make a quick assumption based on how a person looks. I'm not proud to admit it, but I've rarely ever been wrong. I generally own any opinion I put forth, or will do so upon request, as all of my opinions are bona fide. Smirking face, rock on gesture, playful face, rock on gesture. The only reason Tim Hortons is still in business is because their drive-thrus fit big vehicles better. Government's focus should be on education and mental health care. Everything else should be second. Arby's is the best restaurant chain, with the best curly fries. But I'm biased, of course. We should have an annual Hunger Games among homeless people. Winner gets a house. That people shouldn't have huge families. I've rarely seen them work are super good. Fuck Israel. The IDF is full of monsters that look human but have no humanity. People who are suffering from extreme illness should have rights to euthanasia. The recent Dave Chappelle and Ricky Gervais Netflix specials were hilarious. Most people that choose to have kids quickly have no personality or goals. If you look at actual data, a lot of stereotypes are absolutely valid. We need to remove all warning labels, let nature take its course. Just give me a minute while I switch over to my throwaway account. I think trans women should look feminine. I want to see some effort. All life isn't precious and not everyone deserves to live. Sometimes, violence is the best answer to a situation. I read smutty fan fiction. No one in my real life knows. Most people are too stupid to be allowed to reproduce. Chevrolet is a conspiracy, they are not real. Send help. A negative opinion about a moderator of a Reddit sub. We're not going to make it. Earth will be our grave.